in those photos, it was lying right up against her right shoulder, which you can see is a very unnatural position for it to have been in if she had been reading it and then put it down before taking her own life. And in the 2002 appeal, that the Court of Appeal made huge play at this, that, this was strong evidence of Jeremy's guilt because it implied that a third party had recreated this scene by putting the Bible in that unnatural position, and therefore somebody else had done that. And the obvious implication was that somebody else was Jeremy. But in her interview with the scenes of crime officer, Neil Davidson, Davidson just said, "Oh, well, my boss, who was the head of the scenes of crime activity, Ron Cook, picked up the Bible from where it had originally been, had a flick through it, and then thought, oh my God, I better put this back, and probably put it back in a completely different place. Because we have a number of statements from the original firearms team who said that in the crime scene photos, the Bible was nowhere near where it was when they saw it. So that was a huge change in the way that the jury would have interpreted the evidence they were given. And again, there are other elements of the change that were seen, but that was one that particularly stuck out. So that was the second thing that the New Yorker investigation came up with. And the final major item is that the prosecution case relied on really two pieces of forensic evidence. Some blood that was found in a moderator, a silencer for the rifle that was used, that was found by the relatives who eventually became the beneficiaries 3 days after the police had searched the house. And the blood was just inside the top of this moderator. And that blood supposedly matched Sheila's blood grouping. And the prosecution case at trial was, if the moderator had been fitted to the rifle, Sheila would not have been able to put it under her chin to commit suicide because her arms weren't long enough to reach the trigger with the moderator on. Therefore, again, a third party that had been responsible for that. Now, the second thing on the moderator was some paint on the end of it. And that supposedly had come about in a fight between Jeremy and his father in the kitchen, where the moderator had struck the underside of the round, which went round the arbor in the kitchen. So those were the two pieces of key forensic evidence the prosecution presented.
One of the other parts of this case, which has very seriously bothered me, is the release of two phone logs, one from a call made by Jeremy at 3:36 to PC West, reporting to PC West that his father had just telephoned him to say, please come over, Sheila has gone crazy with the gun, and another log, and this is the key log, a log timed 10 minutes earlier at 3:26, which nobody looking at that log on its face would disagree represents evidence, police evidence of a call from Neville Bamber himself to the police. Now, over the years, the police have tried to say in a roundabout way that both of these logs would relate to the same phone call and somehow the timings were confused. I mean, for many reasons I won't go into here, I don't buy that at all. But the principal reason is that the material differences between the logs are so great. And remember, the police version of events is that the first log came about as a result of what Jeremy told police, and the second log came about as the result of what that police officer told a civilian radio operator within Essex Police Headquarters. Now, why would that police officer at the outset of an incident totally change what he was reporting to headquarters? It just doesn't make sense. And remember, in those days, especially in the 1980s, before the police had their body cameras and recording devices and such like, that a policeman's notebook, what they noted on a police log, had to be absolutely accurate. So this 3:26 log of a call from Neville Bamber to police is an accurate record for that very reason. There's another reason why these logs, I believe, will eventually, along with the 999 call, result in Jeremy's acquittal, and it's this. The officer who testified at trial, who said he took a call from Jeremy Bamber, said, well, initially I didn't know what to do. I didn't know which local station to get in touch with because I'd never heard of Tolson Darcy. And so what I had to do is I had to spend several minutes telephoning headquarters to ascertain that Witham Police Station was the police station that the officer concerned, should then contact. Okay, fair enough. How is it, therefore, that the other log of Jeremy's call to the police records, and this was confirmed in the trial evidence, records that somehow this same police officer was able to contact Witham Police Station within a minute of Jeremy giving the basic details to police? He must have known that it was Witham Police Station he needed to contact. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to call them straight away. So now we have two versions of the same thing. Number one, from the same officer. Number one, I knew exactly what station to contact, and I telephoned them straight away. And I had no idea which station to contact, so I had to waste 4 or 5 minutes finding out which station I needed to get in touch with. Now, those are fundamentally incompatible with one another. The only explanation is that the officer concerned took both phone calls, and he knows he did, I assert. At 3:26, from Neville Bamber to the police. Now, at 3:26, from Neville Bamber to the police, that's the first call, and PC West at that time didn't know which station covered the village concerned, which was Tolson Darcy. And then a couple of minutes later, at 3:30, he contacted Witham. When it comes to the 3:36 call from Jeremy Bamber to the police, somehow the same police officer is able to instantly call Witham Station the moment he's been able to record the basic details from Jeremy himself. And therefore the only explanation, by reference to the trial evidence itself, is that there was two separate calls. And it personally frustrates the hell out of me that nobody has come along and worked this out and figured out that on that basis alone, it's a miscarriage of justice, because that's the only explanation that fits.